So name Midway, did you see it? I did. One sentence summary. After Pearl Harbor, the US plan to hit the Japanese so hard they know they've been hit. And 1,000 characters, and 2 hours later they do it. Could you beat the villain? Could I beat the Japanese fleet? Yeah, I could. Given the same information that they were given, I could definitely do that. Um, So they know where the Japanese are going to attack, and they know when the Japanese are going to attack. So why didn't they just circle that island with landmines, and then the fleet that do make it through the ring of explosive death, send some submarines after them, or like some frogmen or something? Anyway, right. How do you improve this film? Ed Screen, I think his name is, the guy. He can't do an American accent. I don't know how he got this role. Like, it was just terrible, the entire film. There we go. There are too many characters. I think they're describing it as an ensemble cast, but there's too many people to focus on. Because it'll do like 15 minutes of what this guy's doing, and it will jump back to a character I forgot was even in the film. So you can cut a lot of these people out. It doesn't change the plot. For example, Aaron Eckhart, he's in it. Removing him doesn't change the film. Why is he in it? The same for every female character that's in this film. Literally, not one of them affects the plot. The kid who Ed says, "Oh look, don't be sad. You can be my wingman," and then 10 minutes later he died. I don't know that kid. All I know about him is he was sad. Why? I don't care. Cut him out completely. Also, Murray. Ed says Murray about 300 times in this film because he's talking to Murray. Fuck Murray, alright? If you take Murray out of the film, doesn't change it. So get rid of him. Jesus Christ. The Jonas brother that was in this film. Get rid of him. He doesn't need to be in it. The film director, I think Mr. Ford or whatever he was, who was on the island of Midway, I'm sure he was there in real life because this is based on real events. But him being there is just wasting my evening. Same for all those pilots. So there's a bit in it where all the pilots, there's several bits where all the pilots are like doing bombings or whatever, and you get a bit like talking to Porkins. I'm sure I've put a screenshot in there, and like if you get that reference, Porkins isn't in any of the film apart from that bit. I don't give a crap if Porkins lives or dies. Quiz time. Are these silly James Bond names, or are they characters from this film? So, Pussy Galore, pretty easy one. Plenty O'Toole, Honey Rider, Kissy Suzuki, Dick Best, Holly Goodhead. You guessed it, all of them were James Bond ones, apart from Dick Best, who was like probably the main character because you spent most of the time with him, and he was Ed, what's his name, who can't do an American accent. Are there no American actors? What's going on? Even if the guy's name was Dick Best in real life, call him Richard in the film, or just call him Best. Don't call him Dick Best. So the attack on Pearl Harbor is happening, and Patrick Wilson, he has a phone call about it, and he jumps in his car. Well, no, he jumps in her car because the dude's driving. Then they drive a little bit. Then they stop where they can dramatically watch the drama unfolding. They stop and get out of the car, and then Patrick Wilson gets back in their car and he's like, "Drive, drive, drive!" Right, wouldn't need to say that if you hadn't stopped. So just carry on driving. Woody Harrelson wears a terrible wig the entire way through this film. Stands out as very, very fake. There we go. A third of this film might be people looking through binoculars, and another, like, let's say, fifth of the film is people in a war room looking serious, like they're part of the action, even though they're not. This is more something to improve in war films in general, especially Roland Emmerich films as well. Did this one. But it pisses me off when a captain will like give a command, like make torpedoes ready, make the torpedoes fully ready, I think it was, and then the second in the command will repeat that to the guy who like makes it happen. All three of those people are in the same room. Why doesn't the captain just say it to the guy who makes it happen? Stupid. Another similar thing is, so someone will get like a top secret message and they will go and run across the room to their boss, and then their boss will be like and he'll run somewhere else and give it to his boss, and his boss will put it in a briefcase, and then he'll drive it somewhere else, and then he'll give it to the secretary of someone else, and then finally the big boss has got it and he reads it and it's like top secret and we need to do this now. Why doesn't the guy who just receives the message A, deliver it himself, or B, if he's got stuff going on, give it to someone whose job it is to deliver messages straight away, not waste time. Anyway, the Americans apparently have nobody looking out at their naval bases because the planes that were over Pearl Harbor were literally over Pearl Harbor before anyone noticed them. At least 3 times in this film, Ed's plane drops below the bow of a ship, and you're like, oh no, is it going to survive? And obviously it does every time, but it gets less impressive when you've seen it twice already in this film. Like, I think it's the third time it happens is like a direct mirror of his introduction where he does that, and it's like, why are you doing this to me? Like, do you think it's dramatic? Because it isn't. Because he literally trained for this earlier in the film and he didn't even need to. Everyone's like, oh, you're a real cowboy. To me, just seems like he's a twat. Maybe it's like he doesn't even care that he might not come back. I think he just hates his wife and kid. Right, so Ed's best mate, whose name I don't remember, a lot of the people look the same in this film as well because they're all in the army style and they've all got the same haircut. But anyway, Ed's best mate is worried that Ed isn't going to come home. And he's looking out into the distance like, oh, I'm sad because my friend's missing. And then he turns around and he's going to go walk inside. Then he's in the doorway and he looks over his shoulder. Nothing. And he's sad. Then he hears something. He hears the droning of a plane. And he turns around and there's Ed's plane 50 foot away. Perfect visibility. Where was the plane? Was it invisible? Was it hiding somewhere? Doesn't make any sense. Are you coming to church? Oh, I can't. I have to go into the office. But it's Sunday. Leave him alone, love. He's wearing his work uniform. Like, it seems pretty obvious to me he's going to work. Aaron Eckhart is all like, oh no, why are the Japanese attacking civilians? Dude, you just bombed Tokyo, right? Even if you weren't aiming for civilians, you just bombed a place with a whole load of civilians. Try not to take the moral high ground on this. Did you know that you can have a conversation with someone at normal volume whilst you're flying an old-timey plane with the windows down and you won't even need to shout? Pretty good, that. As I mentioned earlier, so the Americans knew where the Japanese were going to attack, and they knew approximately the time as well. And there's a little joke, I suppose, in it that Patrick Wilson was only like 5 miles and 5 minutes off his prediction, and he's like, oh, I'll try to do better next time. Arsehole. Anyway, but yeah, for some reason the American planes still spend 2 hours looking for the Japanese like fleet that have launched the planes that are doing the attack. So if you're that fussed about it, why not let the Japanese do their bombing, like clear everything of value off the island basically. Let the Japanese bomb basically a bunch of metal huts, and then when they fly back, follow them to where they're going to land their planes on their boats, start bombing them. Stupid. I did like that the film didn't go overly, and it did kind of make an effort to be all like, oh, well, the Japanese aren't total bastards, they've got honour. And this is more like a, I don't understand why it's a thing, but like, I will go down with my ship. Or you could learn from your mistakes and not do the same thing next time. Be alive though. Rating out of 5 beers, 5. More like a dick worst. Nice.